Running a trades business isn't just about what you build, it's about what you learn, and sometimes the hard way. It's the kind of knowledge you pick up over time and wish someone had handed you soon. Welcome to Trade Secrets, powered by Metabo HPT, a podcast series where trusted, successful tradespeople and qualified experts will share best practices, strategies, ideas, even tricks and hacks that you need to know. Think of it as another reliable tool from Metabo HPT, just not one you keep in your truck, but one that helps you run your business better. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Trades Secrets podcast powered by Metabo HPT, where we talk to successful tradespeople and even people with a deep connection to the trades and chat about topics that might not be formally taught or even talked about, but are super important and can really help you with your trades business. And this is going to be a great episode because we're talking to someone who has been running his own company for the past 20 plus years. So he has a ton of experience along with a ton of information packed inside that head of his. And that's Frank Heneghan. Thanks for doing this, Frank. Appreciate it.
Very welcome, John. How are you, my man?
Very good. Very good. So before we get going, Frank, maybe you could just give everyone a little overview about yourself, your company, even some of the other things that you have going on. I know you have a lot of things happening.
Absolutely. You were nearly spot on. I'm 24 years in business now.
There we go.
I'm feeling it. I've been doing this a long time. I got into contracting in 2003. At this point, I have 2 LLCs with 4 brands between the two. A lot of things we do are water related, but we are general contractors. I mean, there's nothing I haven't done or can't, but everything we do now is very water based. So roofing, rain gutters, ground drains, stormwater systems. We even have a masonry division. So I'm into a lot of things. I'm sort of, I wouldn't say ending my career, but I'm coming into a new chapter, and I'm transitioning. So I've been doing this a while. I have been preparing for this transition, and I have started a software company 3 years ago. It's a software and marketing, digital marketing agency. We do a number of things. We do some general SEO, web development, lead generation for contractors around the country. And we are most heavily involved in software development at this point. So we're working on 3 different apps. We're having a lot of fun with that. And that is my second career, I guess.
Yeah, I love that.
That's what I'm transitioning into. And I'm having a lot of fun doing it.
I love that. Winding down. And then you're going to probably be busier than you are now.
Into a new rocket ship. And
right. So everyone, when Frank and I started talking about what topic he should focus on for this episode, I mean, he had a lot of great ones for us to choose from. And I quickly realized that he was probably going to be coming on this show a lot because there was just no way we could tackle them all. But we did hit on one that seemed perfect for his first appearance because it focuses on 3 resources that many people who are starting or running a trades business just don't immediately bring into the fold, but really need to, because when they don't, it often ends up, biting them, where. So in other words, these are some of the first, I would say, ducks that you got to get in a row. So Frank is going to walk us through all 3 of them and explain why they're so critical to bring on board right out of the gate, what can happen if you don't, and even how you can find them. So Frank, why don't you hit us with the first person who listeners should enlist, and even maybe why so many of them might bypass this person or think that they can wait to engage this person.
Sure. Now, John, when you hit me with this and you said, give me 3, this kind of unfolded pretty quickly, right? I gave you some strong answers, and for good reason. These are very important. I know this personally and also by mentoring guys all around the country, and I see how people operate. I think the number one contact that people fail to engage with is the attorney.
And why do you think that they bypass that?
There's so many reasons, and just to list a few. I mean, I think on the surface, most people are kind of intimidated maybe by the potential bill an attorney
might. I was going to say the money. Yeah, sure.
It's expensive. It also is relatively foreign to people, right? Especially contractors. They just don't understand the value of the attorney, exactly what they can deliver, how they could help a home improvement contractor. It also sort of plays over to the software side, where a lot of guys, I mean, software is heavily used these days, but there's so many people that are still on paper and they're running paper contracts, and they just kind of get a scribble on a bar napkin, and that's their engagement letter with the customer, and away they go. So I think a lot of people are too trusting and too maybe naive to how important it is for all the ugly reasons.
Yeah.
An attorney needs to be in the fold. So I think it's a little naivete, a little cheapness, if you will.
Sure.
A little intimidation. I think attorneys can be intimidating. I know I've had very hefty attorneys bills. So all of these reasons, and I think also, let me just add this little spice to the recipe. I think a lot of guys think that they'll be just fine. They know better. They don't need it. It's okay. I'm not doing anything crazy out there. I'm not shooting for the stars. I'm just kind of getting in and getting out and getting deals. And it just doesn't suit me. I don't need it. I think a lot of people just think it just doesn't apply to their business.
Yeah, and I'm sure a lot of them are probably thinking that, and a lot of people that are listening or watching this, and they're probably thinking, yeah. You know, I know. I've heard all this before. So they don't do it, and maybe because no one has really gotten into the nitty gritty and laid out why, right? Why is it so critical? Why it's worth it? Including maybe some things that can go haywire, even some examples that you have. So I'm going to leave it up to you to get into the why. Like, guys, here's why you need to do this.
Sure. So with attorneys, and with all of these folks we're going to be talking about today, there are so many reasons. With attorneys particularly, man, litany of reasons. Let's start from the beginning. When you start a business, what you're supposed to do is create an operating agreement, right? And that sort of sets the framework for the business, who you are, what you do, especially if you have a partner or multiple partners. Very, very critical. And some of the elements in that contract that are most critical are, how do we exit? If you and I are partners, and then one day we have to plan for the future. One day we don't want to be partners anymore. Somebody wants out, or life's changed and we want to end this. How do we end it? We need something that we agree to on the front side. Another reason is financing. You start to grow. You want to go get a loan. You want to get a line of credit. You need to bring an operating agreement to the table a lot of times, most of the time, to sort of qualify you as a true LLC, as an entity. They want to see your articles of incorporation and, a legally binding document that is your roadmap to how you are doing business. They want to see you're legitimate. The other things that attorneys get into are general terms and conditions on contracts. That's probably maybe the biggest. I'll be honest. And man, I just dealing with contractors around the country, the same story again and again and again. They don't know they need it, and they're looking at some serious bills or legal situations, and then all of a sudden they see the light. But at that point, arguably, it's too late. So you have to prepare for the unknown in business. Anything could happen. There's a lot of ugly people out there. There's a lot of tricky clients out there, especially when you start doing 24 years in business. I've done thousands and thousands of projects, and a lot of people are good. And then there's some sneaky ones out there. And the other thing too, honestly, and let's hope you never get in trouble, guys. Whoever's listening to this, I hope you never have any kind of legal bind. I hope that never happens to you. However, I will say, if you have, in John's words, your ducks in a row, and you have a very strong general terms and conditions in your contract, you're going to get taken way more seriously by the homeowner. It sort of sets the tone and scares away the uglies before the uglies come out. The people see that you have your act together. I have a lot of clients that are attorneys themselves, and they're impressed. They're like, "Wow, you really you nailed it. You got all the elements right." And it brings me up to a level of professionalism that I operate at, but it also lets the customer know Frank means business, and I'm not going to get over on these guys. We have a deal. It's a level playing field. these guys are going to do the work, and now we're obligated to pay them for that work. If you don't have a contract, you have no terms. And I went to small claims court a lot when I was younger. I actually, I gravitated to it because I thought just subconsciously I needed the lesson out of it. A lot of customers were trying to skate on bills and not trying to pay. That doesn't happen anymore. But what I learned is the law is on the side of the consumer. So if you don't have all the elements in a contract, it means nothing. You lose because you didn't have the contract in the first place. They look at that as you're almost sort of trying to defraud the homeowner. So you got to have all the elements in place, or you just walking around with a big L on your head, and it's just a matter of time until you get beat.
Yeah, it's interesting. So there's a couple things there, right? First is spending the money in the upfront is probably going to save you a heck of a lot of money in the long run. And what's always interesting to me about attorneys is they really do look at every situation that could happen in the future. You might not be, you kind of look at it as you got rose-colored glasses on. You're thinking it's going to be great. Everybody's going to pay, and they're looking at it and going, nobody's going to pay. And you really do need it. I mean, it sounds like it's sometimes it sounds a little negative, but that's their job, is to look at every scenario.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, it is a blast of reality when you're like you said, you take the rose-colored glasses off and you go, wow, so this is the world. This is what I have to prepare for. But preparedness is everything, right? That's 90% of the job.
Whether you're framing, roofing, or finishing, Metabo HPT has a cordless nailer for every job. Forget the compressor. Ditch the hose. Power on with a nailer that delivers pneumatic performance without the bulk. Thanks to the patented air spring drive system, you get that same powerful punch you'd expect from a pneumatic, but completely cordless. And they're built for comfort. With a lightweight, ergonomic design, they're easy to handle, easy to maneuver, and help you work longer with less fatigue. Need speed? These tools shoot 3 nails per second with 0 ramp-up time. And with features like toolless depth adjustment and easy switch between bump and sequential modes, you're always in control. Plus, with a brushless motor, you get longer runtime, less maintenance, and a tool that's built to last. In fact, they're backed by a lifetime warranty, plus 2 years on the battery and 1 on the charger. So if you're ready to leave the cords and the hassle behind, pick up one of Metabo HPT's new cordless nailers built for the way you work. Metabo HPT, make, move, go. So I'm sure there's probably, you might have lit a fire under some people out there who are watching or listening to this, but the truth is there's tons of attorneys out there, and they might be thinking like, how the heck do I choose an attorney? How do I find them? Maybe even if you have any advice on, go through a referral, do this, how they could find one, and maybe even some watch outs to keep in mind.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, there's so many ways to find them. I have at this point, with doing $4 or $5 million a year in business and big projects individually, I have layers. I have multiple attorneys. I have trial attorneys. I have general counsel that kind of advise me with my personal dealings. And they blend over. They cross over and work together sometimes.
Right.
You have to have that blend. That being said, sometimes it's nice to work with somebody maybe there's an attorney in the family or once removed, somebody you can trust where you can talk about your dirty, dark secrets, right? I mean, sometimes this is something you don't want to walk in to talk to a stranger about. So it's good to have somebody that you may know, that you think, has your best interests in mind. Other than that, I mean, the best way to do this, when I was younger, I did a lot of networking through a program called BNI, Business Networking International. And what they do is they do it kind of like by zip code, or sometimes cluster together a few towns if they're smaller. And they make this little sphere of influence. And, I was the rain gutter contractor at the time. And then they only allow one specialty, one person per specialty or trade. So maybe there's one attorney or, a few different types of attorneys. But that's one element, is to get into a group like that. Not only can you pick up an attorney, but you can pick up all these other specialties that you might need in your sphere of influence. The other way to do it is to go to your local town and look at, who's doing business in town. You want somebody reputable. somebody that is on the up and up. I wouldn't just Google and jump into the old style yellow pages. I want to know I have somebody that is, Chamber of Commerce is probably the angle.
Yeah. Yeah,
Chamber
that's
of
a good point.
Commerce, somebody that is represented in town, is visible. People know them. They're trusted.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. Okay. Great recommendations. Let's how about the second duck? Second duck that the folks out there need to get in a row.
This is another one that, I think a lot of people duck and really just don't put as much value into. And this would be the accountant.
And why? Why are they avoiding this one? So with the attorney, it was the money. Why would they kind of bypass them?
Same reasons. Kind of expensive. That's the first thing they think. Oh, this is going to cost me. A lot of people are nervous about talking about their finances or opening up their books, or a lot of people just go to H&R Block or these tax prep companies, and it's a 2-week stress ball at the end of the year, and they just kind of at the end of the tax season, and they just throw it on the table, and whatever gets computed out is. But if you're going to grow, you need somebody to not only bookkeep but to do tax prep. Two different things entirely.
Yeah. Talk a little bit about why they're going to be better off with engaging an accountant right out of the gate.
Well, finances are critical. Bookkeeping, you may not need right away. You could probably skate on that for a little bit, but you got to make sure you're paying your taxes. They're done right. Somebody's out there looking out for your best interest, finding loopholes that you may be able to take advantage of. If you're financing vehicles and especially in the early years when you're just starting to ramp up, you want to make sure that you're getting breaks on these types of things. And, even steering you on what type of vehicle and what the gross weight of that vehicle is. Like there's all these little nuances. And then the tax code changes pretty regularly. So who's looking out for you on that? Otherwise, you're going to get cleaned out. And sometimes guys get wiped out and it's too little, too late. You find out at the end of the year and it's the dead of winter and you don't have cash flow and you're in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, that makes sense. How about finding an accountant? What kind of advice for finding it? Because once again, a lot of accountants out there.
Yeah. So similar. I mean, I could kind of reflect on my own view on this. I've been with the same accounting firm for, 22, 23 years. I watched this guy come up and evolve. He was small time and now he's just been acquiring. He keeps buying up accountancies and he's got this massive, massive business. So I stayed with him because he's a smart guy. He advised me. He was basically one of my key advisors in the early years.
So what's that last duck? What's the last duck you got to get in a row?
To me, a mentor, I think, is critical. A mentor or a few mentors, I think. I see a lot of people jumping into this now, especially now with social media and these Facebook groups and the ability for people to find other people rapidly or watch, all these influencers, quote unquote, that are putting out a lot of content. You could find them, you could plug in, subscribe, follow their content. If you're lucky, sometimes you can get close to those people, but you basically want to find somebody that is doing what you're doing and doing it well.
Do you think a lot of people bypass that? That seems like one that a lot of people might not be thinking of. And the reason they bypass it is it might just not even be taught. Because this is really a unique one. I didn't really see this one coming. Is that what it is, that maybe they're just not even thinking of it?
No, you know what? What I think it is, a lot of it to me is sociological and psychological. Sounds really heavy and crazy.
Yeah, I like that. Let's hear it.
All right. So to me, I think people are intimidated to seek out somebody that is doing what they're doing, but doing it better. I think they don't want to own up to the fact that they're not quite as good, or, the ego gets in the way.
Ego, right.
So they just kind of avoid it. They stay away. I don't need to hear it from that guy. He doesn't know anything I don't know. And I think that's I think if you could put your ego to the side and you could be a big enough man or woman to say, I don't know everything, and maybe I need to learn from somebody that might know more than me, you could go real far, real fast. You just have to swallow your pride a little bit and do it. But let's be honest. I mean, if they're already out there rocking and rolling and making a big splash in a place you want to be, they're doing something right. So
Yeah.
why not take the cheat code and sort of break it down and find out how they did it, and
Yeah.
maybe you're to the finish line a little faster.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people just don't. Uh, it's very common for people to uh, not admit that they don't know something. I mean, even leaders of any size company, the best leaders out there are the ones who would just be like, I don't know. They're a little more vulnerable in that regard. But you're
Right.
right. Like if you're looking at a mentor and you're thinking, well, I know ego could get in the way, jealousy could get in the way, even just
Intimidation,
yeah,
intimidation.
you're intimidated to just talk to them,
Some
and
people
and
are
or you might think that they're going to be like, I'm not telling you my secrets, even though this whole show is really about kind of mentoring in a way,
well.
you know.
The secret is givers get. It's really the truth.
Oh,
The
that's
truth.
great.
Anybody that I've connected with that is a wild success, all they do is give, because it just that's just the cycle of life. It just comes back to them. It's amazing how that works.
Are there point like, when it comes to the why, why a mentor and some of the things that you can learn? What are some of those things that maybe you've learned from a mentor?
I think honestly, a lot of it is just the way of the world, right? It's not necessarily how to do a drainage system better or how to do, it's never like the actual work at hand.
Yeah.
It's more so like the mentality and the maturity to sort of get to a level of like 30,000 feet where you can let all of these other things, this ecosystem work,
Yeah.
instead of being just, you can't see the forest between the trees. You're looking at everything in front of your nose. You got to step back sometimes and see the big picture. Also, vision and strategy on long term. A lot of guys don't have a long term plan. They don't even know what they want to be when they grow up. They're just kind of in the job, doing the job today. It's paying today. Okay, I'll do it tomorrow too. But then what? Like, are you? Is there a succession plan? Are you trying to sell the business? How are you going to retire? Is there a roll up strategy? Like, what are you doing with this thing?
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. So this topic, I got to keep digging on this topic. I love this topic. When it comes to a mentor, so you find one. What is the typical uh, uh, interaction? Like, where are you meeting them out? Are you calling them up? Like, what is it all over the place? Like, how does that?
It's crazy. And so different strokes for different folks. I think a lot of people meet mentors at workshops or trade shows or events that these mentors put on. A lot of them are, again, that influencer type of space where they're on stage or they're running programs. The people line up after the event and they wait to speak to that person. I'm different. I mean, I'm a natural born salesperson. I've been kicking doors in since I was a kid. For me, it was just literally that. Just, okay, I need to speak to this person. I just figured a way to call in, get around the gatekeepers, and make it happen, or send a compelling email.
Right.
I had a mentor once that I created a video. It must have been 14 minutes long. I'm talking to the camera like this,
Right.
Giving my case, pitching. I'm basically pitching this guy. And 14 minutes is way too long in hindsight now. And he watched the whole damn thing, and he sent me an email right away. And it was like, get in here.
Well,
Next
it's
thing I know,
flattering, right?
wow, yeah, but I knew I had something he wanted, so it was kind of symbiotic. But I think the guys that are willing to take risks and put it all out there and potentially embarrass themselves,
Yeah.
it goes the other way a lot more than you think it will. Where it's a successful mission. Like you said, they're flattered, they're impressed. They probably have a big operation of their own. They're like, this is the type of person I want in my environment. This is the kind of guy I would hire. So why not put it out there? What's there to lose?
Is there when it comes to choosing mentors, is it, I think a lot of people, when you hear the word mentor, you immediately think, well, this is someone who is seasoned, has been around forever, they're older than me and whatever, but that's not always the case. I mean, a mentor can be somebody younger, especially these days when you're looking at all the tech that's coming into things. There are a lot of people that know things. They might be a heck of a lot younger than you, and know a heck of a lot more. So I'm curious about this idea of finding a mentor and really what you're looking for and how you identify those people. I know there's no formula for that.
To me, if you really want true engagement with that mentor, like you want a back and forth, you want to build a relationship, I think it's, again, different strokes for different folks. I think you're going to gravitate to a personality type more than the next guy will. Everybody's got who they gravitate towards. I think you just kind of have to follow your heart and see what's out there. Step one is open yourself up to content. A lot of people, like I don't watch TV. Maybe I'll watch something late at night. I'm focused on business and things related to my industries. So if you're out there looking, it's funny how fast the prospect comes to you. Maybe it's in your Instagram feed or Facebook. It's whatever you're tuning into. All of these platforms know to feed that to you, right? So I think gravitate to who makes you feel comfortable and try to kick that door in, make a contact and make it happen.
And when you kick that door in, this is where it gets a little tricky, because I'm trying to think of it. And you say, you find a person, whoever they are. It's not going to be like, will you be my mentor? I don't feel like, maybe it is. I know there has to be a level of humility. Obviously the respect is there. But how do you like approach somebody with that?
So, I'm in this very interesting niche in the rain gutter space. I have a Facebook group with about 10,000 followers. I get up on stage at a few events a year.
Yeah, you're the guy. You're a mentor.
I am. So let me tell you how. Let's play it backwards.
Yeah,
how do they do it to me? Right. Yeah. So some guys are great out there. Some guys are annoying. And I look, I'm an honest guy. Like, if you're too pokey and you're like DMing me a lot, like, again, sell me, right? You got to come at me to sell me why I should focus my attention on you. So I have these kids over the years. I say kids, I'm like Uncle Frank now in the industry. I'm almost 50, and the average age is like 22 or 24 in the industry. And I forget that. And I'm like, whoa, man, the last 24 years just went so fast. But they'll private message me or DM me or call my office or go through a forum on one of our websites. And these guys are pretty slick. They figure out how to, get some FaceTime. And my staff and I, we do 30-minute sessions all the time on the phone. We'll do a video call. Right. I make myself very available. And then they follow up. And then, they kind of stay in touch with me. A lot of them will come to me with random business questions. Totally, hey, I have a situation. What do you think about this? And I give it back. I answer a lot of these guys. Most of them I do. And when I answer them, they come back again. And I'm okay with that. Like, this is acceptable to me. The coolest part of it is you fast forward, I've been doing that 5 years or something. And then I'll go to an event and they ask me to get up on stage and speak. And then everybody's like, wow, Frank's the best. We know Frank. He helped me out so much.
Yeah, right.
I'm like, yeah, I did help you. I did. Yeah, I remember. And it just kind of, it's like compounding interest, So, I mean, I think the craftiest guys just reach out and they somehow compel me to respond and assist. And I get texts and DMs at all hours of night, at 11 at night. They're like, oh, I'm sorry to bother you, but it's part of the game.
Yeah, that's 100% true. And LinkedIn helps a lot with that too. I think you can get out there and talk about locally what you're looking for and put it out there, because people will give you a lot of recommendations. I find them all the time here in Wilmington.
I think LinkedIn is a great one for mentorship.
So this is this has been great. I know you have a few things going on. I'd love for you to. You have a podcast. You have all the. Give us some of those links. Where do we find some of these things?
Sure. So if you go to our YouTube channel is highly active. At the Rain Professional. The Rain Professional. If you go to gutterinstaller.org, that's another hot area for us. Gutter App. Gutterapp.com. That's my product. That's
the technology.
Yes.
Okay.
So gutter gutter app.com. We have a release late August. Big stuff going on there. We're building a marketplace for the industry because it's very fragmented, and then we have the freeware. and we're marrying the two. So, and then we have another thing up our sleeve that we're working on. So
I love that. I love the
there's a
secret
lot
stuff.
going on. George, another hot social media area for us, and we have so many. What's your? Yeah, the gutter installer on Facebook. That's that 10,000 member group. There's a lot of fun, positive activity.
Oh, that's great. Yes, and we're going to put them in the note. You know, you and I'll connect. I'll get a bunch of them, and we'll put them.
Sure.
We'll put them in the notes here. But man, awesome. I got to tell you, this is awesome. I guarantee you motivated a lot of people to start talking about these people talking to these people you mentioned, and even kind of engaging them, bringing them into the fold. Hopefully sooner rather than later. But my man, thank you so much. Please come back on again. I mean, to kind of share other stuff.
I'd love to be back. Thanks for the invite.
So there you go, everyone. Get on it. Get those ducks in a row.